The United States emits around 5,600 million metric tons of carbon dioxide equivalent each year. That's roughly the annual output of about 1.2 billion cars. In this Eco-West presentation, we explore the greenhouse gas footprint of U.S. energy supply and demand, focusing on the western states. Most combustion of greenhouse gases come from fossil fuels to generate energy. Flow diagrams from the Livermore National Laboratory provide informative visual summaries of the nation's carbon emissions from generation to end use. These graphics, also known as Sankey diagrams, show how many greenhouse gases originate by burning fuels and how many greenhouse gases are attributable to different economic sectors. Think of the left side of the flow as the supply side and the right side as the demand side. U.S. greenhouse gas output dipped slightly in 2009. While this may partly be attributable to ongoing pursuits of energy efficiency improvements, the bulk of the reductions is due to decreased economic activity during the recession, which is why in 2010 the greenhouse gas emissions started to rise again. Most U.S. carbon emissions are generated from natural gas, coal, and petroleum products, roughly 23, 35, and 42% of 2010 emissions, respectively. Although complete 2011 and 2012 data is not available, some press accounts have suggested that progress in reducing greenhouse gases improves again in 2011 and 2012 through energy efficiency projects and replacing coal with natural gas. However, given that 2012 was the hottest year on record, that progress may be lost in increased demand for air conditioning and other amenities during hot spells. Now let's shift to carbon flows in the 11 western states. The following slides show some interesting patterns in greenhouse gas emissions from origin to end use in the West. As can be seen here, California is the bulk of total greenhouse gas emissions due to its population and active economy. As expected, states differ depending on their energy portfolios. End uses differ according to what industries predominate and a state's population levels. As we will see in the next few slides, California, Idaho, Oregon, and Washington produce most emissions from transportation demand, so they are more petroleum dependent. As we move on to Idaho, it's important to note that the size of the rectangles and connecting lines are not comparable from slide to slide. Industrial demand is a relatively larger player in Idaho than it is in California. This is also the case in Washington. Natural gas accounts for a higher portion of carbon in Oregon. This is also the case in Nevada. In the rest of the West, electricity generation drives more of the carbon emissions. In Arizona, we see coal is a big reason why. Compared to other states, Colorado is fairly balanced in different sources of greenhouse gas emissions. The next 4 slides show that Montana, New Mexico, Utah, and Wyoming are also coal-heavy states. Comparing Washington to Wyoming offers a great example of how end use differs by state. Energy generation accounts for the bulk of carbon emissions in Wyoming, but the transportation sector and industrial sectors dominate in Washington. Wyoming is a major energy exporter to other states, while Washington's energy generation is offset by hydropower, which Lawrence Livermore assumes generates no significant carbon. Thank you for watching this Eco-West presentation. As always, you can download more slides and other resources from ecowest.org.